I waited at home all morning, but nobody came to fix the machine. I waited at home all morning, but nobody came to fix the machine. I waited at home all morning, but nobody came to fix the machine. All of our efforts will be wasted if we do not solve this issue in time. All of our efforts will be wasted if we do not solve this issue in time. All of our efforts will be wasted if we do not solve this issue in time. The room was full of people, so we had to stand near the door. The room was full of people, so we had to stand near the door. The room was full of people, so we had to stand near the door. I should have told him about it earlier. I should have told him about it earlier. I should have told him about it earlier. We've got to get out of here, or we will not make it in time. We've got to get out of here, or we will not make it in time. We've got to get out of here, or we will not make it in time. I'm trying to figure out what happened, and I didn't even know she was there. I'm trying to figure out what happened, and I didn't even know she was there. I'm trying to figure out what happened, and I didn't even know she was there. The factory was full of noise, so we had to speak louder than usual. The factory was full of noise, so we had to speak louder than usual. The factory was full of noise, so we had to speak louder than usual. All of the changes need to be reviewed carefully before we release the final version. All of the changes need to be reviewed carefully before we release the final version. All of the changes need to be reviewed carefully before we release the final version. I did not even notice that all of them had already left the room. I did not even notice that all of them had already left the room. I did not even notice that all of them had already left the room. I would have told you earlier if I had known about the problem. I would have told you earlier if I had known about the problem. I would have told you earlier if I had known about the problem. The roadblock is that every time QE member wants to view the feature list, they have to ask PMO for the link. The roadblock is that every time QE member wants to view the feature list, they have to ask PMO for the link. The roadblock is that every time QE member wants to view the feature list, they have to ask PMO for the link. It is more similar to an ECU. Do you agree? It is more similar to an ECU. Do you agree? It is more similar to an ECU. Do you agree? I will call on him to ask whether he can join us tomorrow. I will call on him to ask whether he can join us tomorrow. I will call on him to ask whether he can join us tomorrow. Please be careful when you walk down the stairs or you may fall over. Please be careful when you walk down the stairs or you may fall over. Please be careful when you walk down the stairs or you may fall over. He fell on the wet floor but luckily he was not seriously injured. He fell on the wet floor but luckily he was not seriously injured. He fell on the wet floor but luckily he was not seriously injured. You can reserve a room before arriving there. You can reserve a room before arriving there. You can reserve a room before arriving there. Although it looks old outside, the inside is modern and well organized. Although it looks old outside, the inside is modern and well organized. Although it looks old outside, the inside is modern and well organized. Put all of them on the desk so I can check them one by one. Put all of them on the desk so I can check them one by one. Put all of them on the desk so I can check them one by one. We talked about our plans for next month, but we have not made a final decision yet. We talked about our plans for next month, but we have not made a final decision yet. We talked about our plans for next month, but we have not made a final decision yet. Why don't you check the file again before sending it? Why don't you check the file again before sending it? Why don't you check the file again before sending it? I am not there yet, but I know I am making progress little by little. I am not there yet, but I know I am making progress little by little. I am not there yet, but I know I am making progress little by little. I forgot to take out the trash this morning, so I will do it later. I forgot to take out the trash this morning, so I will do it later. I forgot to take out the trash this morning, so I will do it later. Let's open the windows for a while because the room feels stuffy. Let's open the windows for a while because the room feels stuffy. Let's open the windows for a while because the room feels stuffy. I need to do the laundry tonight because I have nothing clean to wear tomorrow. I need to do the laundry tonight because I have nothing clean to wear tomorrow. I need to do the laundry tonight because I have nothing clean to wear tomorrow. I am going to change the bed sheets because they have not been washed yet. I am going to change the bed sheets because they have not been washed yet. I am going to change the bed sheets because they have not been washed yet. Please close the door gently because everyone is still sleeping. Please close the door gently because everyone is still sleeping. Please close the door gently because everyone is still sleeping. Let's tidy up the house a little before the guests arrive. Let's tidy up the house a little before the guests arrive. Let's tidy up the house a little before the guests arrive. I need to renew my ID card before it expires next month. I need to renew my ID card before it expires next month. I need to renew my ID card before it expires next month. We should prepare a backup plan in case something goes wrong at the last minute. We should prepare a backup plan in case something goes wrong at the last minute. We should prepare a backup plan in case something goes wrong at the last minute. We took a wrong turn, so now we have to find another way back. We took a wrong turn, so now we have to find another way back. We took a wrong turn, so now we have to find another way back. Wait until the car comes to a complete stop, don't rush like that. Wait until the car comes to a complete stop, don't rush like that. Wait until the car comes to a complete stop, don't rush like that. We should leave earlier next time if we want to avoid the rush hour. We should leave earlier next time if we want to avoid the rush hour. We should leave earlier next time if we want to avoid the rush hour. Sometimes the smallest change in your routine can make the biggest difference. Sometimes the smallest change in your routine can make the biggest difference. Sometimes the smallest change in your routine can make the biggest difference. I almost said no, but something told me to give it a try. I almost said no, but something told me to give it a try. I almost said no, but something told me to give it a try. This is not where I meant to be. This is not where I meant to be. This is not where I meant to be. It kept moving because stopping seemed more difficult. It kept moving because stopping seemed more difficult. It kept moving because stopping seemed more difficult. I didn't notice until much later. I didn't notice until much later. I didn't notice until much later. I was about to leave, but then I changed my mind at the last second. I was about to leave, but then I changed my mind at the last second. I was about to leave, but then I changed my mind at the last second. I found some money in my pocket, and I still can't remember when I put it in. I found some money in my pocket, and I still can't remember when I put it in. I found some money in my pocket, and I still can't remember when I put it in. Waking up every morning is torture for me. Waking up every morning is torture for me. Waking up every morning is torture for me. We are trying to figure out all of the reasons why the issue happened. We are trying to figure out all of the reasons why the issue happened. We are trying to figure out all of the reasons why the issue happened. We have got to move faster, or all of our progress will be wasted. We have got to move faster, or all of our progress will be wasted. We have got to move faster, or all of our progress will be wasted. We were full of hope at first, but the situation became more complicated later. We were full of hope at first, but the situation became more complicated later. We were full of hope at first, but the situation became more complicated later. The small cafe on the corner is full of people every weekend. The small cafe on the corner is full of people every weekend. The small cafe on the corner is full of people every weekend. I should have called them earlier instead of waiting until so late. I should have called them earlier instead of waiting until so late. I should have called them earlier instead of waiting until so late. I did not even know all of them had planned a surprise party for me. I did not even know all of them had planned a surprise party for me. I did not even know all of them had planned a surprise party for me. You should have told her how you felt before it became too late. You should have told her how you felt before it became too late. You should have told her how you felt before it became too late. All of my old photos are still kept in a small box under the bed. All of my old photos are still kept in a small box under the bed. All of my old photos are still kept in a small box under the bed. I want to travel alone for a while to clear my mind and think about my future. I want to travel alone for a while to clear my mind and think about my future. I want to travel alone for a while to clear my mind and think about my future. Someone seems to be playing music over there. Someone seems to be playing music over there. Someone seems to be playing music over there. I still remember that period vividly. I still remember that period vividly. I still remember that period vividly. Just go to that room and ask. There is always someone there. Just go to that room and ask. There is always someone there. Just go to that room and ask. There is always someone there. I was thinking of applying to the Chinese company, but it did not work out. I was thinking of applying to the Chinese company, but it did not work out. I was thinking of applying to the Chinese company, but it did not work out. I've been busy these past few days, so I postponed the classes for now. I've been busy these past few days, so I postponed the classes for now. I've been busy these past few days, so I postponed the classes for now. Please stop by later, okay? I'm heading out now to give the card to them and I'll be there at 6. Please stop by later, okay? I'm heading out now to give the card to them and I'll be there at 6. Please stop by later, okay? I'm heading out now to give the card to them and I'll be there at 6. Just go and enjoy yourself. You do not need to worry about anything. Just go and enjoy yourself. You do not need to worry about anything. Just go and enjoy yourself. You do not need to worry about anything. She looks familiar, but I cannot quite recognize her. She looks familiar, but I cannot quite recognize her. She looks familiar, but I cannot quite recognize her. Can I just register for the weekend bus to Hanoi? Can I just register for the weekend bus to Hanoi? Can I just register for the weekend bus to Hanoi? I'll take the bus for a few days first, and then I'll ask someone I know to come pick me up. I'll take the bus for a few days first, and then I'll ask someone I know to come pick me up. I'll take the bus for a few days first, and then I'll ask someone I know to come pick me up. We need to identify the key risks early and prepare countermeasures before they affect the overall plan. We need to identify the key risks early and prepare countermeasures before they affect the overall plan. We need to identify the key risks early and prepare countermeasures before they affect the overall plan. I want to explore a few more places before we head back. I want to explore a few more places before we head back. I want to explore a few more places before we head back. I was going to call you, but I thought you might be busy. I was going to call you, but I thought you might be busy. I was going to call you, but I thought you might be busy. It is okay to slow down when you have been carrying too much. It is okay to slow down when you have been carrying too much. It is okay to slow down when you have been carrying too much. We should leave a bit earlier in case the road gets crowded. We should leave a bit earlier in case the road gets crowded. We should leave a bit earlier in case the road gets crowded. I don't remember his name, but I know I have met him before. I don't remember his name, but I know I have met him before. I don't remember his name, but I know I have met him before. Did you lock the door before we left the house? Did you lock the door before we left the house? Did you lock the door before we left the house? Let's review this part again because I do not fully understand it yet. Let's review this part again because I do not fully understand it yet. Let's review this part again because I do not fully understand it yet. We should go over the main points first and then look at the details. We should go over the main points first and then look at the details. We should go over the main points first and then look at the details. I want to learn how to explain things more clearly and more naturally. I want to learn how to explain things more clearly and more naturally. I want to learn how to explain things more clearly and more naturally. Let go of the things you cannot control and focus on what you can do today. Let go of the things you cannot control and focus on what you can do today. Let go of the things you cannot control and focus on what you can do today. Stay where you are for a moment and listen to the sounds around you. Stay where you are for a moment and listen to the sounds around you. Stay where you are for a moment and listen to the sounds around you. We need to save energy by turning off the lights and machines when they are not in use. We need to save energy by turning off the lights and machines when they are not in use. We need to save energy by turning off the lights and machines when they are not in use. A stable power supply is one of the key factors in maintaining smooth production. A stable power supply is one of the key factors in maintaining smooth production. A stable power supply is one of the key factors in maintaining smooth production. Improving supplier coordination is essential for reducing delays and preventing material shortages. Improving supplier coordination is essential for reducing delays and preventing material shortages. Improving supplier coordination is essential for reducing delays and preventing material shortages. We need to confirm the schedule, participants, venue, and key activities before the event starts. We need to confirm the schedule, participants, venue, and key activities before the event starts. We need to confirm the schedule, participants, venue, and key activities before the event starts. It is necessary to identify the key issues in advance. It is necessary to identify the key issues in advance. It is necessary to identify the key issues in advance. Clear ownership of key tasks is essential for keeping the project on track. Clear ownership of key tasks is essential for keeping the project on track. Clear ownership of key tasks is essential for keeping the project on track. After the door is locked, the charging port will lock even if the charging gun is not plugged in. After the door is locked, the charging port will lock even if the charging gun is not plugged in. After the door is locked, the charging port will lock even if the charging gun is not plugged in. I understood the intention, but I am not clear about the escalation request or what I specifically need to do. I understood the intention, but I am not clear about the escalation request or what I specifically need to do. I understood the intention, but I am not clear about the escalation request or what I specifically need to do. Ms. Knock asked me to fill in a violation form for him. Ms. Knock asked me to fill in a violation form for him. Ms. Knock asked me to fill in a violation form for him. Mr. Rodrigo approved your late arrival request late, although you had already informed him before 8 a.m. Mr. Rodrigo approved your late arrival request late, although you had already informed him before 8 a.m. Mr. Rodrigo approved your late arrival request late, although you had already informed him before 8 a.m. I see that many QE members are asking which functions are available or unavailable. We can refer to the feature list in the data room. I see that many QE members are asking which functions are available or unavailable. We can refer to the feature list in the data room. I see that many QE members are asking which functions are available or unavailable. We can refer to the feature list in the data room. These feature lists should also be made available to QE members in the Indonesian and Indian plants. These feature lists should also be made available to QE members in the Indonesian and Indian plants. These feature lists should also be made available to QE members in the Indonesian and Indian plants. According to European regulations, for passenger vehicles, the horn sound level should be within the range of 105 decibels to 118 decibels. According to European regulations, for passenger vehicles, the horn sound level should be within the range of 105 decibels to 118 decibels. According to European regulations, for passenger vehicles, the horn sound level should be within the range of 105 decibels to 118 decibels. I requested approval for the supplier to bring their mobile phone into the GA shop. I requested approval for the supplier to bring their mobile phone into the GA shop. I requested approval for the supplier to bring their mobile phone into the GA shop. Please extend the mobile phone access for this person until June 4th, in accordance with his visa validity. Please extend the mobile phone access for this person until June 4th, in accordance with his visa validity. Please extend the mobile phone access for this person until June 4th, in accordance with his visa validity. Could you please try opening this link and let me know whether it is accessible? Could you please try opening this link and let me know whether it is accessible? Could you please try opening this link and let me know whether it is accessible? Please check the part 1 circled. If you are not sure, please ask for clarification. Please check the part 1 circled. If you are not sure, please ask for clarification. Please check the part 1 circled. If you are not sure, please ask for clarification. If there is anything EE specific with respect to the feature list, you can contact me. If there is anything EE specific with respect to the feature list, you can contact me. If there is anything EE specific with respect to the feature list, you can contact me. These requirements are applicable to the primary user. These requirements are applicable to the primary user. These requirements are applicable to the primary user. We have got to make a decision soon, or we will lose this opportunity. We have got to make a decision soon, or we will lose this opportunity. We have got to make a decision soon, or we will lose this opportunity. We sat on the rooftop and watched the lights of the city come alive. We sat on the rooftop and watched the lights of the city come alive. We sat on the rooftop and watched the lights of the city come alive. All of us need a place where we can feel calm and be ourselves. All of us need a place where we can feel calm and be ourselves. All of us need a place where we can feel calm and be ourselves. I want to hold on to all of these memories for as long as I can. I want to hold on to all of these memories for as long as I can. I want to hold on to all of these memories for as long as I can. I should have listened to my intuition instead of ignoring the warning signs. I should have listened to my intuition instead of ignoring the warning signs. I should have listened to my intuition instead of ignoring the warning signs. I stood alone at the station and did not know where to go. I stood alone at the station and did not know where to go. I stood alone at the station and did not know where to go. Why don't you sit down for a moment and tell me what happened? Why don't you sit down for a moment and tell me what happened? Why don't you sit down for a moment and tell me what happened? I should have spent more time with my family when I had the chance. I should have spent more time with my family when I had the chance. I should have spent more time with my family when I had the chance. He fell on the road while running, but he got up and kept moving. He fell on the road while running, but he got up and kept moving. He fell on the road while running, but he got up and kept moving. Do not be too hard on yourself when things do not go as planned. Do not be too hard on yourself when things do not go as planned. Do not be too hard on yourself when things do not go as planned.